بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته.
الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. الفاتحة. الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the ability to contemplate the wahi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to the wahi that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed upon him, manifested in these prayers, manifested in this way Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is approaching the divine with, manifested in these dua, manifested in these supplications, and indeed the word of the morning and the word of the evening, the way we are reciting it. Imam al-Haddad has not chosen it only out of a concern to utter the same words Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to utter, but he wanted in this word to expose to us and to give us an opportunity to connect with something in particular beyond the dhikr itself, beyond the wording itself. Imam al-Haddad himself, he has other adhkar that himself he has written that would show his wa'i himself, his understanding himself to the relationship between the human being and the divine. But in Wird al-Latif he has insisted that the Ummah, he has insisted that his students in particular, and that the Ummah, because the Wird al-Latif became a general word for the whole Ummah, has insisted that the Ummah could have an access, a clear access to the wa'i, to the understanding of their Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the relationship with the divine. Because what the dua is, what the prayer is, the prayer is the thing that will show you truly who you are and what is your true relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people will say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَمَا لَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. And some other people will say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Some other people will say رَبِّ أَرِنِي أَنظُرْ إِلَيْكَ. And between the three levels, بَوْنٌ شَاسَعٌ. So actually the people are recognized according to the subject and according to what they are asking for from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People are judged or are evaluated or are recognized or known. We know people, who they are, based on what they ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how they approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the attributes that they find of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are the objective ones, but majority are subjective ones. Majority of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are subjective ones, and that gives a wide opening for those. The deeper your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, the broader the scope of your knowledge is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more precise and the more subtle and the more real the attribute that you will find for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the name that you will find for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will be calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon with. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen for giving us this opportunity to be connected to the wa'i, to the understanding of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the wahi, to the revelation, through this word, al-Word al-Latif, and through these adhkar that were uttered by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the beginning. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the barakah of the prayers, and most importantly to give us the barakah of the one who uttered these prayers. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin ya Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi tabi'in at-tahirin. The introduction of the book. Now we are not talking about the book of Ibn Hajar Al Asqalani, we are talking about the book of the one who is making the commentary on it. The Traveler's Guide. Hadi Sari. No, indeed, it is actually the introduction of Ibn Hajar Al Asqalani to his book, and he has he's explaining in it the methodology and the purpose, the methodology and the purpose, and the methodology he was taking, the purpose and his intentions, and the scientific methodology, and how could one read, and what would one find in his commentary on Sahih al-Bukhari, Fath al-Bari. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Traveler's Guide, in the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. Said the Shaykh and Imam, the great and lordly scholar, the proof of Islam, the aid of seekers, the reliance of Hadith scholars, the ornament of gatherings, the unique man of his age, alone in his time, the reviver of the pure Sunnah, the suppressor of followers of heresy and caprice, the shining comet, Abu al-Fadl Ahmad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali al Asqalani, known as Ibn Hajar. Ibn Hajar. May Allah reward him with paradise by His grace and favor. Ameen. Praise be to Allah who has opened the hearts of the Muslims to the Sunnah so that they willingly followed it and delighted in hearing it, and deadened the souls of the people of iniquity with heretical innovations after they insistently disputed it and crossed all boundaries in corrupting it. I testify that there is no God but Allah, alone without partner, who knows whether hearts follow or reject, and is aware of their hidden secrets, whether they be united or dispersed. I testify that Muhammad is his servant and messenger, by whose right falsehood was laid low after having been high, and by whose mission the lights of guidance were connected and its proofs made manifest after having been blotted out. May Allah bless him and give him peace as long as heaven and earth endure, heaven in its height and earth in its vastness. May He bless and give peace to his family and companions who crushed the armies of the foes and conquered their fortresses. For the sake of their love for the one who called them to Allah, they left their homes and never returned to them after bidding them farewell. Then they preserved for those who followed them His sayings, deeds and manners, until by their means the teachings of the noble Sunnah were saved from being lost. The most precious thing on which one can spend the breaths of one's life, and the noblest thing to single out for special attention, is the study of the sciences of the sacred law as conveyed to us by the best of creation.
Sacred sciences of the sacred law is called the fiqh, the sciences of the understanding of the deen, ulum al-fiqh, ulum al-sharia al-mutahara, the sciences of the path and the sciences of the understanding of the deen. That's how we should. If you keep translating fiqh by sacred law, we are selling it short. Bismillah. So the sciences of the understanding of the deen, ulum al-fiqh wa sharia al-mutahara in Arabic, the sciences of the deep understanding of the deen, Sharia al-Mutahara, and the clear, pure path. That should be, that's how it should be understood and translated. Indeed, the sacred law is part of that. And here you find in the beginning all these titles of Ibn Hajar: the comet, the suppressor of innovations, the reviver of Sunnah, the unique of his time. All of these titles. And we said last time, that's a tradition, that's an Egyptian tradition of that time, of the Mamluk time, even their kings. You'll find like 3 paragraphs before the name of the king, titles. The king of kings, the king of the world, this and that. But they don't call him like that. These were the Persians. The king of kings, the son of Aryans, and all of that. These were the Persians. For Egyptians, the Mamluks, they Islamicized it, and so they will find you will find all these titles about basically everything noble. They will just put it there. And there is something good in that if you think about it. And especially when we talk about scholars here, it's not an empty talk. And part of it was not really meant to be filled with meaning, unfortunately. But in this book in particular, and in this description in particular, when we listen, we could just actually go and contemplate on every single title that Ibn Hajar was given here, and you will say that it's true. Those people and the scholars and the ulama of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ulama of the deen, the revivers of they are the inheritors of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And because they are inheritors of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like this and more than this, so they were inheriting of these qualities as well. So we can call them what did he call him?
The great and lordly scholar, the proof of Islam, the aid of the seekers.
The proof of Islam, Hujjatul Islam, na'am.
The aid of seekers.
So you see the same thing for Hujjatul Islam and Shaykh Islam and these things. And yes, we at some point Hujjatul Islam, the only Hujjatul Islam that is the only scholar who became known by Hujjatul Islam is Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, and the only scholar who people know today when we say Shaykh al-Islam is Ibn Taymiyyah, because the people of Imam al-Ghazali they really made a case for Imam al-Ghazali, and the people of Ibn Taymiyyah they made a case. Say. For Ibn Taymiyyah. It's not. There are many Hujjaj Islam and many Shuyukh Islam. As we said last time, these are titles like we say Ayatullah for the Shia brothers and sisters, and like we say doctor so and so and professor so and so, and in the modern world, these are honorific titles that are or master so and so, etc. Now, so these are honorific titles that or scientific titles as well. So the one who would master the fiqh and the legal studies and becomes the mufti of the muftis of his time, and who will master the ilm al-hadith and the ilm al-usul and the science of hadith and the science of usul and the science of jurisprudence in the madhab Shafi'i, they will call him Shaykh al-Islam, and that's the highest title of the he's the mufti of the muftis. The one on the head of the whole, let us say the chief of the Supreme Court, maybe today, the main judge or the Qadi al-Qudat or something. They call him Shaykh al-Islam. And the one who masters the philosophical studies and becomes really and the aqidah and mantiq and philosophy, they call him Hujjah al-Islam. He becomes a Hujjah of Islam. This said, we said like last time, these titles are honorific, and most of the times they are just conferred, they are just given to people like that in books, because it is the student of that Shaykh who is writing this book, or one of the students of the Shaykh who is writing the book, or not even at some point it becomes just a fashion, and editors and printers, they will just give all these things in the beginning of the book, so they will sell that book. Many. In this case in particular, unanimously, almost the people of the time of Ibn Hajar agreed, and they will be really happy to hear these titles and to hear their teacher and to hear their Shaykh, the Shaykh that they love and they appreciate, being called with these names. Now, when he has written the book himself, he would say, يَقُولُ الْفَقِيرُ إِلَى رَحْمَةِ رَبِّهِ وَمَوْلَاهِ. That's how they say. That's how they start. The scholars say, the poor needy of the rahmah and the mercy of his Lord, and says that. And after that, the students, they come after that and they give all what they believe this teacher was, or all what they consider this teacher is. Bismillah. And after that, his introduction, what was his first introduction? What did he say? All praise be to
all praise be to Allah, who has opened the hearts of the Muslims to the Sunnah, so that they willingly followed it and delighted in hearing it.
Has opened the hearts of the Muslims to the Sunnah, to the tradition, to the way of their Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has opened the heart of those who submit their will truly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who opened the hearts of the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those who submit their will and want to submit, or wanting to submit their will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wanting to live in harmony with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will for them, to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as exposed and as explained and as presented in the tradition and in the description and in the texts and in the narrations relating to the time of the Prophet ﷺ, relating to the acts, relating to the speech, the acts, and the tacit approval of Rasulullah ﷺ. And the state, naam. The speech, the action, the state, and the tacit approval of Rasulullah ﷺ. Naam. Bismillah. He has opened, all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has opened the hearts of Muslims to this, alhamdulillah, and that's what he wants, and that's what this book is about, and that's why the book is called Fathul Bari. So the balagha, they start the first sentence, everything you find it in the first sentence. It's the thesis there, and actually it's the introduction. It shows you the intention. Alhamdulillah. Naam. And who sealed?
And deadened the souls of the people of iniquity with heretical innovations after they insistently disputed it and crossed all boundaries in corrupting it.
وهكذا. And نسأل الله العفو والعافية. And people who insisted to not follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It means they insisted to not fully submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and insisted to be in disharmony with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choice for them, and insisted to sell the choice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for cheap price, which is their own choice for themselves. Those people are the people of innovation, and they left the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is simple, beautiful and clear, and exchanged it with the way of philosophers and the way of thinkers who are not sincere in their way of thinking, and people who are just sellers of words, of empty words, heretics. نسأل الله العفو والعافية. وهكذا until their souls got deadened. نسأل الله العفو والعافية. Until their souls became dead. We see that today, subhanallah, how when a human being follows the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even in the small details, we see even in the small details, just wanting to enter to the washroom and in that way, and leaving the washroom in that way, and not out of obsession but out of love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, out of with the intention of really wanting to open his heart to the light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wanting to bring himself, to bring his life, and to bring his understanding, and to bring his life closer to the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be more in harmony with the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see the fruits of that. If someone does that, imitates Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that intention, subhanallah, he will have understanding, he will have light in his face, he will have humility, he will have many, many beautiful things. And if someone starts discussing these questions and insisting on his own opinion and rejecting the opinion of the classical scholars like that with no adab, وهكذا, astaghfirullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Very soon you'll find their faces be dark, and you will find their hearts hard, and you'll find them lost. Nasallallahu al-afwa wal-afiyah. And because they were insistent in not following the truth, in denying the truth, the clear truth, out of kibr, out of arrogance, out of pride, out of self-pride, out of arrogance. Nasallallahu al-afwa wal-afiyah. And Sayyidina Aissa alayhi salam, he used to tell his people in Aramaic, which is, and you'll find a similarity with the Arabic language. He used to tell them, إننا نور الظلمة فتح. So we are the light of the darkness. إننا نور الظلام, basically in Arabic. ففتحوا قلوبكم. We are the light in the darkness, and we are the light of the universe. Open your heart. So open your heart. وما أنزلنا من نبي وما إلا ليطاع بإذن الله وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا ليطاع بإذن الله. خلاص. And we haven't sent a messenger except how do we translate that, Sidi Ahmed? وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا ليطاع بإذن الله.
We have not sent messengers except to
be
follow.
followed. Hmm? We have not sent messengers except to be followed, obeyed, and except to be except to be allowed to fashion you, allowed to have access to your thoughts, to have access to your character, to have access to your life, and beautify it. And no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends you the light so you can open your windows and benefit from that light. Otherwise, what did you do? The light is there, but your windows are closed. What can I do for you? Allah protect us and you.
Ameen.
Continue.
Continue with the intro from...
Where did you stop?
Okay. The most precious thing on which one can spend the rest of one's life, and the noblest thing to single out for special attention, is the study of the sciences of deep understanding of the deen and the sciences of the clear, pure path, as conveyed to us by the best of creation. No intelligent person doubts that they revolve around the authoritative book of Allah and the sunnah of His chosen Prophet ﷺ. All other sciences are either tools to understand these two, in which case they are treasures to be sought, or else foreign to them both, in which case they are dangers to be overcome.
Allahu Akbar. All that, there is no science more noble than the science of al-Kitab wa Sunnah, in both understandings, in the simple understanding, al-Kitab as the Quran, wa Sunnah as the Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or in the deep understanding, which is actually, it's not another replacement for the simple understanding, but it is an empowerment and a deepening of the meaning of the simple understanding. Al-Kitab as the mission, Kitab Allah ilaykum, the mission that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for us, and the Sunnah, which is the way how to go about it, the way how to go about this mission and how to follow this mission. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, there is no science more noble than this science, the science of the study of the mission, our mission on earth, the mission Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for us on earth, and the way to go about it, and our way to go about it, and the way to follow it, and the way to uphold it, and the way to honor it. There is nothing. This is the science of the human being. This is كل شيء متعلق بها, this life, your happiness in this life, and the meaning of this life, and the continuity of the previous life. Otherwise, subhanAllah, if you do not study that, if you don't get the science of the mission, your mission on earth, your previous life is waste. The previous life is wasted. All that covenant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken upon you, and all what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown you in that previous life, you did not benefit from it. You did not benefit from it. If disbelievers, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, inshallah, and deniers, they did not benefit from their previous life. They lived as if they sold themselves short, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not honor them, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not manifest the truth to them, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not take a covenant upon them, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not tell them alastu bi rabbikum wa ashhadahum ala anfusihim, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not take them for witnesses. Subhanallah. But subhanallah, when you think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He says actually He took the souls of the human beings as shuhada, as witnesses, the time He was creating the heavens and the earth. The souls of the human beings were there. They were witnesses. And that's why the knowers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Gnostics, and those who really go back to that memory, to that old memory, they get the knowledge of the beginning of the kawn. They get what we call the knowledge of al-bada', the knowledge of the beginning of this universe and how everything started and how the molecules came together and how all of this. You'll find many of them يُصَرِّحُونَ بِذَلِكَ. You'll find many of them in their poems speak of that and talk about that. And subhanallah, it's interesting enough that they talk and describing phenomena very similar to the phenomenon of the Big Bang and these things, but in a very beautiful way. And they're talking about something else. They're talking about how the water and the fire came together and how they, and subhanallah, it's ajib, in a very symbolic way in the same time. Find in the Quran ishara ila hadha Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and say وَأَنَا مِنَ الشَّاهِدِينَ وَأَنَا عَلَى ذَلِكَ مِنَ الشَّاهِدِينَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the heavens and etc. And I was there, I was witnessing that. I'm a witness for that, subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the kuffar, He said, مَا أَشْهَدْتُهُمْ خَلْقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلَا خَلْقَ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. And for the kuffar, He said, يعني ما أشهدتهم خلق السماوات والأرض ولا خلق أنفسهم. I did not take them for witnesses when I created the heavens and the earth, and I did not take them for witnesses when I created them. على كل حال, this is one of the understandings. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the human being this honor, great honors, and for those who do not take that honor in this second life, their previous life went to waste. Nasallallahu al-afwa wal-afiyah. They sold themselves short, and their previous life went to waste. They did not really take advantage of that. And their third and fourth and fifth life, which is a consequence of this second life, which are consequences for the second life, Nasallallahu al-afwa wal-afiyah, they will be very problematic and very, very bad. And for those who follow the path, for those who take their mission, say take their mission to heart. For those who take their mission to heart, for those who take this kitab seriously, for those who really follow the way seriously, Allah, subhanallah, their previous life will make full sense, and the honor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored them with will make full sense, and the second life will be but a continuity of that honor, and the third life will be even an increase, and the fourth will be an increase, and the fifth will be increase on the increase on the increase, and وَيَزِيدُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا هُدًى. نسأل الله العفو والعافية ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يجعلنا من هؤلاء آمين يا أرحم الراحمين رب العالمين. And all the rest of sciences is telling you, and this is not egocentrism, and this is not a complex of superiority, but this is a reality. All the other sciences, anything else you know, anything else you discover, they should be a servant, should be an assistant, should be helping you to understand your mission more. To understand your mission more and to understand how to go about it more. Otherwise, they are dangerous. And this is the understanding of our Salaf for all the ulum that are not ulum al-deen. Again, the ulum al-deen, it's not the science of the sacred law. No, it's just like that. It's the science of the understanding of the deen and understanding and following the clear path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, studying the sacred law is part of it. It's part of it. Bismillah.
Bismillah. As far as I can see, in his book, al-Jami' al-Sahih, Imam Abu Abdullah al-Bukhari borrowed from the resplendent lights to affirm and derive knowledge, and drank from the refreshing wells to draw strength for his work. By his goodly intention, he was granted success in what he compiled, so that friend and foe alike deferred to it, and supporter and rival alike accepted his judgments on authenticity. I have sought the blessing of Allah to add some words to it by way of explaining its beneficial teachings, clarifying its intentions, and unraveling its mysteries and subtleties. Before all this, I would like to provide an introduction to explain the work's structure and draw attention to its unique features. I hope to make it a succinct summary, neither too long nor too short, so that it may be easily understood and serve to open some doors and clear some paths in a way that brings ease to the hearts of its readers. What I say about it will be confined, Allah willing, to 10 chapters. 1. An explanation of what led the author to write the book. 2. An explanation of the book's subject and the author's purpose in writing it. The author's criteria for including hadiths will be examined, and we shall explain just why it is one of the most authentic books ever composed on the subject of the prophetic hadith. Yes. In addition to this, we shall speak about his marvelous and ingenious chapter headings, the precision and exactitude of which singled him out from all his peers and earned him greater renown than all his colleagues. 3. An explanation of the wisdom he employed when abridging hadiths or deriving them into separate sections, each with unique entries, taqti', as well as his reasons for repeating some hadiths. 4. The explanation of the author's reason for relating hadiths with incomplete chains, mu'allaq, and traditions going back only as far as the companions or followers, athar marfu'a. Athar mawqufa. Even though this seems to be contrary to the chief purpose of the book. Appended to this is a summary list of the mu'allaq hadiths attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, and a mention of those who narrated them with full chains. 5. A glossary of the rare and unusual words in the texts of the hadiths, arranged in alphabetical order, made concise and simple to make them easier to revise and reference. 6. A glossary of the correct spelling and voweling of problematic names in the book, in addition to nicknames, kuna, singular of kunya, and genealogies. This will have 2 sections. The first, those names that appear the same in writing but are pronounced differently and can be organized based on a common rule to make them easier to revise and reference. Those names that do not fall under this category will be mentioned in the main text. And the second, those problematic names that only appear once in the text. 7. Identification of the author's shaykhs where he did not state their surnames and their names are common, such as Muhammad, but not if their names are rare, such as Musaddad. In addition to this, there will be a brief summary of all the unknown and ambiguous names in the book. 8. A discussion of those hadiths in the book whose inclusion was questioned by the Hafiz of his age, Abu al-Hasan al-Daraqutni, and other critics, and the answers to their criticisms one hadith at a time. This will show that the book does not contain a single hadith that does not meet the author's criteria, as we have established them. 9. A list of the names of the author's narrators who have been subjects of criticism, arranged in alphabetical order, and a reply to these criticisms in a manner that is fair and impartial, as well as justification for why the author included the hadiths of some narrators against whom there are strong criticisms. We shall explain that in such cases, the author either avoided the areas in which the narrator had been criticized or narrated those hadiths of theirs that were corroborated by stronger narrators, or for some other valid reason. 10. A chapter-by-chapter index of the book, listing every hadith in every chapter, which will amount to an enumeration of all hadiths in the book, including repetitions. In making this index, I have followed the work of Shaykh al-Islam Abu Zakaria al-Nawawi, radiyallahu anhu, seeking to gain blessings through him. I have then added to a commentary of the aptness of the book's arrangement, which I obtained from Shaykh al-Islam Abu Hafs al-Bulqini, radiyallahu anhu. Next, I have followed this with a list of all the names of the companions in the book, arranged in alphabetical order, an account of how many hadiths each companion has in the book. All this will serve to show how many hadiths there are in the book, not counting repetitions. I have then ended the introduction with a biography of the author, revealing his distinctions and virtues and covering his accomplishments and feats, hoping to make this the best possible way to end it. Now, once these introductory chapters are finished and the foundations laid down, I will begin my commentary of the book itself, seeking aid from the opener and the giver. Allah willing, I will give the chapter heading and the chapter heading and the hadith, and then explain why the one fits the other if this is not clear. Secondly, I will reveal the beneficial information that can be validly derived from the hadith, whether related to the text or the chain of transmission. This includes supplements, additions, explanations of what is unclear, citations of other reports where the narrator, known for tadlis, states that he did hear the hadith directly, and corroborating reports of someone who heard the hadith from the shaykh before his memory failed. All of this will be drawn from the foundational hadith collections, whether musnads, jami'as, mustakhrajs, juz' or other collections, on condition that whatever I relate from them shall be authentic, sahih, or sound, hasan. Thirdly, I will mention full chains for the reports with incomplete chains, mu'allaqat, and their traditions going back only as far as the companions or followers, mawqufat, so as to give extra benefits and arrange things more completely. Fourthly, I will give the proper spellings and vowelings of the problematic elements mentioned above, whether they be names or epithets, as well as explaining the meanings of certain words, noting subtle matters of rhetoric and so on. Fifthly, I will cite the opinions that the Imams have derived from these reports, such as legal rulings, ascetic counsels, and principles of conduct. I will limit myself to the stronger opinions among these, giving preference to what is clear without going into confusing detail. Nevertheless, I will take pain to reconcile those reports that seem to be contradictory, and differentiate abrogating text, nasikh, from abrogated, mansukh, general, am, from specific, khas, and unqualified, mutlaq, from qualified, muqayyad. I will point out the ambiguous text, mujmal, and that which clarifies it, mubayyin, and the literal meaning of a text, zahir, and that which indicates its interpretation, mu'awwil. In addition, I will allude to certain rules of juristic fundamentals, qawaid usuliyya, and points of Arabic linguistics, as well as certain differences between the legal schools, madhahib, according to what I have heard from the opinions of the Imams, and what I have been able to understand of the important principles, maqasid. I will follow this format in every chapter, Allah willing. If the text of a hadith is repeated in the same chapter rather than in two different chapters, I will explain the wisdom behind this repetition without repeating my commentary of the hadith itself. If it is given with a different wording or meaning, however, I will point out the differences only. If the hadith is repeated in another chapter, I will limit myself to explaining why it is appropriate for this chapter and commenting on anything I did not mention before, as well as pointing out where it was commented on more extensively. However, if the main point of the commentary I wish to provide for the hadith is only distantly related to the chapter where it first appears, I will change this plan. For the first instance of the hadith, I will only comment on its relationship to the chapter heading, and then for the second occurrence, I will follow the format outlined above. At all times, I will endeavor to be concise and avoid prolixity and excess. I ask Allah to grace me with help in completing this task by His generosity and favor. I ask Him to guide me to the truth of those matters that are disputed by His leave. I ask Him to grace me in return for my working for the sake of the Prophet's traditions, with reward in the next life. I ask Him to pour plentiful bounties one after another upon me and upon all who study it, read it, or write it. Truly, He is all-hearing, all-responsive.
And an introduction like this puts us to shame. And not only puts us to shame, puts all the modern work to shame. In all fairness. And shows us how much have we lost. as human beings, as a humankind, not only as Muslims, as human beings. Look at this. And you will see he actually followed this after that. 100%. Look how many things. Methodology, clear methodology, very precise, what he's going to do. SubhanAllah, with every single thing. This introduction is a jewel. Seriously. SubhanAllah. Shows you how their brains were, how their spirits were, how broad. SubhanAllah. There is no ta'assub, there is no fanaticism, there is no excess in madah, in praising, or in SubhanAllah. And you find the books of the people of today, La ilaha illallah. It's all fanaticism, it's all like impulsiveness, it's all SubhanAllah. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit us. Ala kulli hal, for some people who can get the deep knowledge and who can follow this as a class of knowledge, Bismillah, they could just, this will be an introduction, this will be a first, how to say, immersion or something to it. But for the rest of us, we are witnessing the idea, our intentions. Why did we want to read all these introductions, even though in the beginning we just go straight to the Hadith and we start the commentary? So we can be witnesses and we understand and we know it was not a game. And at least we understand the intelligence of these predecessors, and we know that they were not playing. They were not playing, they were like big, huge, they were giants. At least so for you to understand that it wasn't a game. So anyone who comes to you today and tells you, oh, these predecessors did not know anything, they were just writing books for writing books, just, no. Give me a scholar today. Give me one scholar today who will write an introduction like this one, like with these precise things, etc. I mean, every single, in one book, look how many books, how many statistic books. In this book, how many, in each glossary is like, and they did not have computers to make these glossaries. You see how many glossaries in this book? The glossary of the names of the Sahaba, the glossaries of the name of Muhaddithin, the glossary of the, and all of that. If the statistical aspect of the book, it alone is impressive, which is the most simple. And then the way he would explain it, he would add and he would make, and subhanAllah, his himma and his niyyah. It's for the tawdeeh and the humility throughout the way he's writing things, and at the same time the thiqah, and subhanAllah, the confidence, confidence and the humility going together, knowing what he wants to do, doing it for the right thing, for the sake of God clearly, subhanAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us their barakah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit us with their barakah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us at least La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, pride again in our predecessors and in our tradition, and give us thiqah, give us trust, give us an opening to trust our predecessors again, and to look up to them. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin rabbil alameen. And this was our main intention behind reading this introduction. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin rabbil alameen. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ala alihi wa ashabihi tabi'in tahirin. Al-Fatiha. Ya arhamar rahimin rabbil alameen, I ask you to allow us to look up to our predecessors and to live up to the way they have designed for themselves and designed for us. Ya Arhamar Rahimin Rabbil Alameen. We ask Ya Arhamar Rahimin Rabbil Alameen to allow us and to give us the openings to look up to the potential that you have put within us, and to live up to it. Ya Arhamar Rahimin Rabbil Alameen. We ask you, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to give us a deep understanding of our mission, the Kitab, and to give us a clear understanding, clear vision, how to go about it, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and how to follow it, and how to implement it in our lives, and how to uphold it, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi tabi'in tahirin. Ask you, Ya Mawlana, the way you have given to Imam Ibn Hajar and the scholars before him and after him, the way you have given them a humility, give us a humility, and the way you have given them confidence, give us confidence, give us a humility that does not overtake and does not erase our confidence, and give us confidence that does not become arrogance. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Ni'mal Mawla, Ya Ni'mal Nasir. Balance our thoughts and balance our emotions, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and give us balance and harmony in our life, the way we think, the way we see things, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, the way we speak about things, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, 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 Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Ni'mal Mawla, Ya Ni'mal Nasir. Give us fairness and justice and accuracy in what we say and the way we think and the way we evaluate things and the way we approach things, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Distance us away from fanaticism, distance us away from blind fanaticism, distance us away from the speech of Jahiliyyah and from the paradigm of Jahiliyyah and from the way of the Jahiliyyah people, those who only speak with imbalanced emotions. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allow our physical health to have a good impact. Give us good physical health and allow it to have a good impact on our, give us the barakah of it so it has a good impact on our rational. Ameen, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And allow our rational to be healthy enough so it gives and organizes and puts our emotions back on the right track. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And give us the barakah of that and allow our emotions, once put on the right track, to be leaders to our spiritual awakening. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Ni'mal Mawla, Ya Ni'mal Nasir. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi, Ya Ni'mal Mawla, Ya Ni'mal Nasir. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Al-Fatiha. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن شاء الله. الحمد لله. ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا، ربي علمنا الذي ينفعنا،
رب فقهنا وفقه أهلنا وقرابات لنا في ديننا مع أهل القدر أنثى وذكر. رب وفقنا ووفقهم لما ترتضي قولا وفعلا كرما وارزق كل حلالا دائما وأخل أتقياء علما نحظى بالخير ونكفى كل شر. ربنا أصلح لنا كل الشؤون وأقر بالرضا منك العيون واقض عنا ربنا كل الديون قبل أن تأتينا رسل المنون واغفر واستر أنت أكرم من ستر. وصلاة الله تغشى المصطفى من إلى الحق دعانا والوفاء بكتاب فيه للناس شفاء وعلى الآل الكرام الشرفاء وعلى الصحب المصابيح الغرر. اللهم اهدنا بهداك ولا تولنا وليا سواك واجعلنا من يسارع في رضاك ولا تجعلنا من خالفك أمرك وعصاك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. فاتحة.
صلي على النبي شفيعنا أحمد. الله صلي ربي على النبي مولانا محمد.